Well, hi there, everyone. Well, as you can notice, that magic isn't displayed for the day, and we're actually going to be starting a new show called Defrag in Progress. And what that really will be, in essence of what the show will actually consist of, is just my thought process and on subjects and topics that maybe hopefully I can just get out of my head. Like I constantly think of things and we're all so busy that we don't really have time to hang out or talk about what we need to, or when I do talk about things to some people it just doesn't click with them. So I thought I'd bring it out to the community to y'all. Here on Geektopia Island, I'm just gonna ramble. I'm gonna talk about some subjects and hopefully you can comment back and maybe it'll relate to you and maybe you can open my eyes onto some things as well. And I thought it'd be fitting, since we are actually canceling magic on our channel, to talk about it. How much it's affected me in my life, and how much, it's really been a part of it for years and years. How much the trials and tribulations, we all go through, how much it pulls us in sometimes when we leave. And right now, Magic's in a weird spot, in the pandemic with the arena coming through, and how I've kind of lost my love for it, for sure. I don't know, like, if it'll ever become great for me or whatnot, but since it's disappearing from here, I just wanted to give it a nice send off for sure. But of course, the first question, as always, you have won the roll. Would you like to go first or draw first?
Where shall we start, right? I guess the very first memory of Magic I have is like might have been 13, 14, somewhere around there. 15 for sure, I guess. But my parents got me a starter pack of Portal Second of Age. And of course, just sitting down there with cards, not knowing what the hell to do. We just, made up our own rules, a friend and I, and we kind of messed with it, but ultimately didn't do much with it. They even took me to a local game store back then called Game Masters, and he said that if I was brought there on the times, they could teach me and all this magic. But with my parents, my mom worked 3 jobs and my dad 2, so nothing, didn't really have time for them to take me there when I needed to. So that ended. Then, coming around, getting a job, getting some money, we come to the Meriden block around October 2003. A friend and I, one of my best friends actually that I met in middle school, he also played a little bit of Magic and stopped and then decided, hey, let's come back. Let's actually come together and play this game. And we actually bought our first box, which was I do believe it was the old Meriden completely, around Kamigawa and such. That was fun. It was fun to be able to grab cards, random cards, try to make decks, not knowing exactly what we were doing, what kind of decks we were doing. We live in a town where it's like the biggest, smallest city in Texas, really. And so the nerd culture was not there. I grew up in a time where nerds were not popular and we were hated and, spit on pretty much. So we did our little stuff. We played a little bit of games. We actually started learning more and more and more. And when it became around Time Spiral and Laurelwind, we decided, hey, let's actually try to go to a tournament, because there was no game shops here that we knew of that actually ran Friday Night Magic or any Magic tournaments at all. So what we had to do, we actually had to rent a car, drive to the next city, which is 2 hours away, and actually play a local game shop there. And there, I played mono white. I was a mono white player. I'm sorry, white weenies all the way. Auras, it was super fun. But I was able to get second, actually. And that's when I realized how super fun this must be. So I ran pretty much Daybreak Cornet, which is amazing card. It's my favorite card of all time, actually, of Magic. I don't know why, I just have so many fond memories of this. So I would basically pile up everything on a Paladin of Invec because it has protection from red and black, and then just aura this and swing in. And I won, and it was pretty awesome. And of course, one of the greatest white cards out there, Mana Tithe, where it's a Planar Chaos? Plane Shift? I can't really remember. Planar Chaos, I think it was, where it was a white 1-drop white counter spell. And that has won me a lot of games back in the day, and also EDH games, which was quite hilarious to see. But we'll get into that later. Now, with our town not having any tournaments, no stores that can do anything, we kind of just fell to the wayside. We just stopped playing Magic altogether. And that was around when Shards of Alara came out in 2008. And we just stopped. I stopped. It wasn't fun at the moment. We couldn't do anything special, so done. Now, skip ahead a few years later when Scars of the Mirrodin block came out. I don't know what happened. Magic has this ability where you stop playing for a while and it just catches your eye. You hear, oh, a new set's coming out. What is this? And you look at the cards and you're like, the power creep is beyond crazy. And especially when Infect was in this set, it seemed pretty fun and weird to get into. So I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. Let's get into this. Especially when Innistrad was just around the bend. I was like, this could be pretty badass. So sadly, I spent like I got my collection. I was like, all right, let's go to the store since we actually have Friday Night Magic now here. I was like, amazing, let's do this. I traded so many things in to make like 4 decks, and it makes me sad. Like, you know, Termagoyfs and Damnations and all this old card from Time Shift block. Oh yeah, guess what? Back in the day, no one knew what the hell a Termagoyf was. We just read it and it was like, I don't understand this. You want to trade? And back then, trade wasn't. There was no value to it. There was no, just like, I want this card, you want that card. Let's trade. Done. There was no money value. There was no secondhand market around here. So we just went by that, if you can believe it. Now we'll skip ahead in my first Grand Prix ever, and that was Albuquerque 2013. And here I'll post this picture of a playmat that I made, or that I asked artists to do. I wanted to have a memorable time of like, this is my first one here. I want to get the artist to make one badass, I guess, action scene. And of course you can see Rob Alexander did the castle artwork. Steve Argyle, of course, did Chandra. And then Franz von Winkel, he did the robot. And I just wanted, because I asked each artist, what do you like to draw? And he was like, I like to draw robots. And Steve Argyle was like, oh, I don't know, I like to draw badass women. I was like, hell yeah, let's have a robot fighting, badass gothic lady. And Von Winkle was like, you want the robot to be sexy too? I was like, yeah, do it. Let's do this. So they started going at it throughout the day as I was going terribly 3 and X pretty much. I played out through the whole day even though I was losing. My first tournament, didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how to feel, what to do, what to prepare yourself with. And that's usually, I feel like that's everyone's first big tournament. They're like, yeah, they get excited to play Magic, and they realize it's a gruesome, horrible time of hunger and being thirsty. But yet you're still there just trying to have fun and play the game. I guess with the love of Magic, I'm trying to, present this time period and this life. And, with this, the community was great. Meeting players from all over the place to play this silly little cardboard card game and get to know them and talk and all this. And this is where I started this ritual, I guess, with dice. As you can see here, each one of these dice is from an opponent. I thought on my first Grand Prix, I thought this would be kind of cool to, have a little memory of each battle that you play against. And my favorite part is the fact that they have a dice set that was incomplete. It was different. And they can hopefully remember me by that one dice that was in there, off-colored, Of course, some people wouldn't do it because, hey, I get it, OCD, you don't want to have mismatched dice and all this fun stuff. But to be able to have all these mini stories of these battles that you take place, all the fun of outwitting your opponent. And I guess that's where my favorite thing of Magic is you always said it was a combination between chess and poker, where you have the planning of chess and the strategic value with the poker asset of bluffing your opponent and also the luck of the draw. You don't know what you're going to be getting, if you're going to get land screwed or land flooded and all this fun stuff, or if your opponent top decks the win. It's all fun and exhilarating and amazing. But before we continue on that point, I'll talk about my second Grand Prix where I almost made day 2 actually, and of course it was in Albuquerque then next year, and it was with a black-green deck. It had this is where my brewing came in and really, I felt like pushed me over the edge to make me realize what I'm doing was actually good. What my thought process was of actually defeating the meta. But it was a Green Corpse Menace and Colonian Hydra. It's not really a super major combo, but back in the day with Return to Ravnica, you can be able to do all these counter shenanigans. And with the Hydra, it says whenever, it swings double the counters. And with Corpse Menace, you replace that, doubling it more. So you quad how much counters you put on the Hydra. And an opponent, I think on the 8th round, literally had to call a judge. It was like, this doesn't how it works this way, because it has trample. You're going to die immediately. And judge came over and said, this is how it goes. And he just scooped and left. He just immediately was done. Apparently, it was too unfathomable for him to lose in such a silly way. To the downfall, I think, of my love for Magic. We're talking about all these great experiences with pre's or fun time with friends, and you're just grabbing as many cards and ideas and putting them together and showing this love and sharing the love with other people as well. And I feel like the downfall really started when I'm gonna get criticized and put to the flames here, but when like other formats started appearing, like EDH, Elder Dragon Hierarch, Highlander, there we go. Back in the day, that was kind of fun idea, unique. You can grab whatever cards you want. Hell, I even had one with an Isamaru Hound of Konda, and it was just a mono-wet or a deck. It was a Voltron deck is what they're called now, where you just get your commander, you pump them up everything you can, swing in and kill, because all you need is 21 commander damage to end the opponent. And of course, EDH has a pot of 4 players, so I would always take out who I thought the main bad guy or player that everyone would hate it out first, and then I would be taking it out immediately because they did not want that to happen to them. And why I say that's kind of slight downfall is I felt like Wizards of the Coast was starting to focus more on that more than anything. I mean, it makes them a lot of money, right? Everyone loves Commander. So instead of their first experience most of the time is with Commander or EDH, where they just put a bunch of cards together, one of each kind, and play with your friends. And that's how I can see how they love it and how people just want to play that, because that's how I played it first. That's how I played Magic first. Is just putting cards together, brewing, and playing. But now it feels like, as stupid as it sounds, very corporate, since they actually started making sets for Commander. I felt that really destroyed the magic of it. And that's when I started seeing standard sets just fall the wayside or get too powerful. And then sadly, our town just stopped caring. They stopped giving a crap about Magic. I went to our LGS for 6 months straight with no FNM happening because no one showed up. No one wanted to play except maybe 1 or 2 people. One other gentleman showed up every Friday as well with me, and we just test out the decks that we were thinking about and playing. But sadly, it just died, and therefore my excitement died with it as well. Now, even after that happened, I was able to find a couple other stores and starting to get back into it, of course, showing the love. I liked it so much that my friends didn't want to invest money into it, so I built them decks, and if they won, they gave me the credit at the end, which was fine, which was fun because I was able to do something with my friends again. But then Arena started happening. Now, MTG Arena at first was an amazing idea. I thought it was cool. I can brew as many decks as I want without spending any money, and then be able to take my favorite deck and then bring it to FNM and start winning tournaments or game day tournaments or Grand Prix or whatnot. But sadly, when it started really kicking off, I was in the beta, everyone around my town just stopped caring and just started playing Arena. Therefore, no more tournaments were happening, no more anything was happening. And Arena is great, and I think it is the future of Magic, and I knew once this pandemic happened that it would kick off immediately and everyone would just go to it and play it because that's the easiest way to do it. But there's something about it that just drains me, and I feel like it's because there is no person-to-person conflict. There's no bluffing, there's no just guessing what they're going to do or outplay them, the opponent. Every time you play an opponent on Arena, it just kind of feels like you're playing against a computer, a nobody, nothing. And sadly, that's how it works. And after brewing so much, after making Cardwell's Cauldrons for the channel every week, just brewing so much, I kind of lost my will to even want to play. So I just started selling all my cards, every single bit that I can ever have or whatnot. And as it felt like an investment. I was able to get a lot of money back to help myself through bills and all this other stuff. But as you can tell at the intro of the video, I don't own any Magic cards. We had to use another set of cards to be able to do that. And that's kind of just sad to me. I like spent all this time and loving these cards, physically playing with them, especially the lands that I have. I have a set of limited lands that are my favorite lands of all time. And now it feels dead. Everything just feels robotic. And that's why I felt like this was a good send-off, this video, to maybe have a discussion with y'all of why, if anyone else feels this way, if they just stopped caring about Magic altogether. Because now it feels robotic. And maybe it's because Friday Night Magic was an exciting time. Like, it was the one day of the week where you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to get out of my house. I'm going to go do something. And I'm going to meet a few people and have fun and enjoy. And meet all these different characters of life, you know? But now you can play it anytime you want. Which you could do in MitGo. But this is kind of different since there's no other way to play it now. Unless your shop still does Friday Night Magic. Which, you know, good for you. But just stay safe out there. But for me, for this town, it's dead. And I think that's what really, truly killed it. Maybe if Wizards of the Coast actually did something on Friday nights with Arena, where you can actually sign up for a tournament to maybe win some money or special promos that you can only get through those days of Arena, then that would be pretty cool. But they haven't done that yet. And they barely do any tournaments, maybe like once every 2 months, 3 months. I can't even tell anymore. I don't even know what's happening. So with that, I end it here. I end Magic on the channel. We stopped getting views for it, and brewing just seems like another thing that just doesn't happen anymore. But I'll continue to play. I love limited, draft, seal as much as possible. And that's maybe one saving grace that Arena has that has kept me in there is the player draft. But even then, that feels soulless because I love drafting because you're playing the people around you. You know what's in the pools. You know what to grab to play against other people. But on Arena, you're not playing against the opponents you drafted with. So drafting seems kind of lifeless as well. But long farewell to all the late night days, the staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning to finish the top 2 of a draft or a limited set, or even the pre-release nights as well. Those were great times. Those were amazing times. And I hope that you can share those with us too.
There you have it. Well, with that, everyone, hopefully you enjoyed our first episode of Defrag in Progress. Like I said, I just want to be able to unload my brain and hopefully, you know, trigger something for you. Maybe it's a great memory, bad memory, or whatever that you just want to talk about to our community. And here on Geektopia Island, hopefully you can reach us out on any social media, tell us how it is, leave a comment down below, and maybe we can have a good discussion talking as well. And even on our Patreon, hopefully we'll be able to grow and have a nice community there. Safe, fun. We're not here to, you know, be toxic at all, for sure. But with that, those are my feelings of Magic, and it's sad to see that I don't have any excitement for it at all, really. And to you, fellow Magic players, good game.
Also, guys, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to our channel, and then hit that bell for any future notifications that you have for our videos.
And we go ahead and give a big thank you to our fans for over the years, especially our Mythic and Above Patreon followers.
Thank you, Ryan.
With that, we love you. Thank you for your support.